Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round one of this year's Formula One World Championship. Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix. Can Mercedes start with victory in their bid to win a 7th consecutive Constructors' title? Could Ferrari or Red Bull establish an advantage early on? And with 22 cars on the grid, how quickly can the new team find their footing? Well, it's great to be back, Anthony Davidson. We've got a lot to talk about this year.
That's right, Crofty. It felt like a long winter, but it's good to finally be back. I have to think the usual suspects will battle it out at the front, but there are always going to be some teething problems early on in the season, so whoever can keep on top of their issues will have the advantage today.
As I mentioned earlier, we're up to 11 teams this season, with a new entry run by, well, of all things, an owner-driver. That's something we haven't seen in this sport since Hector Abac over 4 decades ago. So how are they looking so far?
It's hard to imagine how a small operation like that could survive in the ruthless world of Formula One, and yet here they are, first ever race looking surprisingly strong. But there are no points for qualifying. Let's see how they fare in the Grand Prix proper.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Alexander Albon and Verstappen, a Mercedes, Ricciardo, Sainz and Lando Norris, Ocon, Perez, Pierre Gasly and Raikkonen, Stroll, Giovinazzi, Romain Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen. Ireland, Russell, Latifi and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Keep pushing. Let's capitalise on that first lap. Exit now. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound. Callum is in the pits. Callum in the pits. Okay, this is Jeff. I need you to stop cutting the corners. If you keep it up, the stewards will award you a penalty. The fastest lap of the race. Keep this up. We have 2 laps of fuel remaining. Some information on Vettel. It looks like the problem is terminal. They're retiring the car. Absolutely awesome. Just amazing. Well done.
Well, that might not have been the finest race in history, but there's no question it was a critical win. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, Crofty, this was won through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One. Let's have a quick look at how the driver standings have changed. After today's impressive result, we have a new points leader. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff.
Let's move on to the constructors. The owner-drivers team moved to the top of the table. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
fans really seem to enjoy that. You made it look easy. You took the top points today. Was it a comfortable win? You gained a lot of positions during the race, didn't you? You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? Appreciate your time.
We continue to increase our acclaim, more potential partners become willing to work with us. We can now approach an additional sponsor from the corporate tab.
Be careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. Front wing damage. Recommend you box for a new one.
The session has drawn to a close, so let's review our top three. Vettel, Verstappen.
you alright? Engine off, engine off.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. The weather hasn't been ideal in qualifying. What's your take on it? Why do you think you weren't as quick as your teammate today? Not an ideal qualifying session for you. What's your plan for tomorrow? Great. Well, that's everything.
The Formula One circus has arrived in Southeast Asia once more as we usher in a new era and get ready to go racing here in Vietnam. A lap of Hanoi circuit then, 3.4 miles around the Vietnamese capital. A number of the 23 corners take their inspiration from other great circuits, hopefully creating plenty of passing opportunities. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Now, let's talk about Charles Leclerc. That was a great podium in the last race, so can they keep that momentum going this weekend?
It's always nice to come into a Grand Prix weekend on a high, but your expectations are based much more on your practice and qualifying runs, so it's the momentum from those sessions that they'll be hoping to carry into the race today.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going. Careful with the front wing, you've taken some minor damage. Strategy is available on the MFD. a lot of wing damage. Box for a new one. What happened? Let me know you're okay.
So Mercedes have won it, and what a great race it was. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. So, let's review the drivers' standings. After an incredible performance, Lewis Hamilton secures the top spot in the Drivers' Championship. Some amazing talent out on the track today, but Anthony, who would you pick?
What a great day out there today. Let's talk about what happened. Do you have any comments about the collisions? You lost to your teammate today. Was it just not your day? Appreciate your time.
Morning, boss. This week's income from the sponsors has cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
If it were me, this is probably what I'd invest in. I recommend we could go for something like this.